Is it recording? Okay. Okay.
Recording in progress.
There we go. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Sorry, we're just running a little bit late. But welcome to our February 17th, 2026 Board of County Commissioner meeting. It is our 2 o'clock Commissioner consent agenda. Let the record reflect that all 5 commissioners are present. We did receive 1 written testimony for item number 5B on today's agenda. And we are striking 3A from today's agenda, and then we do have a by-leave item that is going to be number 6 today. So a lot of changes to our agenda. So with that, though, I would ask for everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. That's going to take us to our open public forum, and I do have 3 people that have signed up for our open public forum. And so I'm going to start with, let's see, we'll start with Becky Dickerhoof.
While Spokane County and its municipalities have implemented significant reforms like the Building Opportunity for Housing code changes, at least 4 emerging strategies and unaddressed policy levers remain available to tackle the crisis. 1, expanding the urban growth boundary. A primary tool under consideration for the 2026 Comprehensive Plan update is the expansion of the urban growth area boundary. This would allow development on previously restricted land to meet the projected demand for over 1 million homes statewide by 2045. 2, tax and financial incentives, such as parking to people conversions. The City of Spokane is advocating for state-level sales tax deferrals to convert surface parking lots and underutilized commercial buildings into workforce housing. And the split rate taxation. There are proposals to shift the tax burden from building improvements to land value. This would discourage land speculation, holding vacant land, and reward property owners who invest in new housing. Also, exploring new funding tools like a local option real estate excise tax or short-term rental taxes specifically earmarked for housing. 3, regulatory and structural reforms, which includes enhanced tenant protections. While the City of Spokane recently passed an eviction prevention program requiring 30-day notice periods for non-payment, the county could adopt similar uniform protections across all 13 municipal jurisdictions. And land bank legislation. Implementing land bank enabling legislation would allow the county to acquire vacant or deteriorated properties and return them to productive use as affordable housing. Finally, faith-based partnerships. Leveraging church-owned land for senior and low-income housing, similar to the Chalice Place project, which uses Connecting Housing to Infrastructure program grants to offset infrastructure costs. 4, infrastructure first development. Direct infrastructure subsidies. Instead of just funding the buildings, the county can partner with the state to provide gap funding specifically for water, sewer, and road expansions in high-density zones to lower the entry cost for private developers. Or coordinated regional data, utilizing the Housing for All planning tool to identify specific gaps by income level, such as permanent supportive housing versus middle-income condos, to ensure supply matches the specific needs of the population. 1590 is not the only answer to the low-income housing crisis in Spokane County, but they all require action by the county commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Susie Hilkinson.
There's no timer going, I don't think. But I have it written down, so it won't be too long.
It was up in the, right there. It's tiny. It's tiny this week, but it is up
Tiny,
there.
well,
I looked for it too, and I spotted it, and it's like, oh,
we
there it
think
is.
alike, yeah. Thank you all first for serving us. It's amazing what you do. And congratulations to Mary.
Thank you.
So I'm going to just read this. The League of Women Voters of Washington is doing a 2-year update on our 1980 study of all 29 recognized and 7 unrecognized tribes. Saturday, I returned from a 9-day, 1,300-mile trip visiting 11 reservations. This was my 5th trip, and I have now visited all 29 tribes. This has been wonderful. I hope to return to every tribe. I also spent 2 days in Olympia and visited with over 20 elected officials. I even got 20 minutes with Representative Chris Stearns, Navajo tribal member representing the Auburn area, and I also had 20 minutes with Representative Deb from Alaska, Lekanoff. I can now pronounce all the tribal reservations' names, and that's really fun to accomplish. Okay, so, and she's representing Bellingham. And both of these were just almost in tears, appreciating what we are doing as the League. Some of the other elected officials were Ormsby, Hill, Rosselli, Graham, Volz, Chase, Schmick, Abel, Ingalls, and Schmidt. Well, the other one. It's beneficial to be a League of Women Voter member, as they seem to be available for us. And my personal land acknowledgement is, as a visitor on this land, I recognize how incredibly grateful I am to be here. I am committed to pushing for systematic changes and decolonization to support our Indigenous learners and communities. And it's going to happen. The county is going to get a land acknowledgement someday, so how about doing it on your watch? It is just such an honor. The tribes are doing amazing. And I'd love to talk to any of you about any of it at any time.
Thank you, Susie. Next, I have Jim Lady, if I said that right. Oh, I'll let you say it correctly for me.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Jim Leedy. I'd like to talk to you today about a video that Sheriff Knowles and Prosecutor McCollum posted yesterday on their social media. They posted a video regarding State Senate Bill 5974, which is the modernizing and strengthening laws concerning sheriffs. In the video, these two gentlemen used that time and government resources that are government paid for to put forth their own personal legislative agenda. And they asked their followers to contact the governor to veto this bill if it gets passed, and to contact the representatives and their senators about this bill. The bill is going to ask for the state to ensure that the sheriffs in our state have background checks, are certified to be law enforcement officers. It also has rules regarding using volunteers as posses in Washington State. If you look at their Facebook page, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office has 47,000 followers that they can reach. Their X account, which is formerly Twitter, has 15,000 followers. They posted this video on both of those accounts, which are official government accounts, and it was done with government resources. I ask that you examine the legality of the sheriff and the prosecutor using publicly funded systems and official government social media platforms to promote their personal legislative agendas. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office posted both of these yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Mr. Folsom, can I ask, is there a prohibition on elected officials using government resources to advocate a yes or a no vote on legislation in front of the legislature?
The answer to the question as posed is no.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is open public forum. Is there anyone else that would like to speak at our open public forum? Seeing no one else, no one online, I will then close the open public forum and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair,
Sorry. Oh, okay. So Carol Kaplan, you have 3 minutes for speaking on something that is not on our agenda. Carol Kaplan, are you able to speak? I don't think she's promoted, she's an attendee.
But she's on our screen. She wouldn't be on our, she wouldn't be on our screen.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
Carol,
I'm sorry.
no, you're
Um,
good. You have 3 minutes.
All right. I just want to speak on there's a matter of putting up signs to restrict the big trucks on Rambo and Craig out Airway Heights area.
I think
And I think it's-
that's going to be, Ms. Kaplan, will be at our public hearing for item 5A.
Okay.
So we haven't gotten there yet, but so hang on, and when we get there, then I'll make sure that I recognize you for that. Okay, thank you. So now I'm close the open public forum, and then I will now look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve item 4, A through M.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for item 4, A through M. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That will then take us to our public hearing items, which the first one is 5A, to consider revising Spokane County Traffic Code number 46.44.0802, no trucks over 16,000 pounds, Craig Road and Dino Road, for the Spokane County Public Works Department. So Matt, I will let you speak to that before we open it up for comment.
Thank you, Commissioner. Here today talk about a truck restriction we'd like to have placed on Dino Road and Craig Road. You can see on the overhead here, this is on the West Plains, and you can see the city of Airway Heights in the blue area there. And the reason being, these roads were old farm to market roads. They were never constructed per normal standards with asphalt and gravel sections that would accommodate the truck traffic they've been seeing. This has kind of been brought to the forefront. There's a couple of different things going on in the area. Hayford, you can see north of Dino there, up in the very top right-hand corner. There's quite a few asphalt and gravel and concrete plants going in on that north section of Hayford that historically weren't there. And naturally, they're wanting to find the quickest way to get to where they're going, and that has become Dino in some cases, and Craig. And again, they're just not built for that type of traffic. So we want to encourage them through signage and this code revision to get onto Hayford that has been rebuilt in front of the casino down to Highway 2 that can accommodate the traffic much better. We also had a comment from a business owner, Josh Therens of Corridor Contracting. His office is on that section of Dino, just a little bit west of Hayford. And of course, anytime we do these, you still, as local traffic, can use the roadway, as we would be talking to the owner, Josh Therens, and encouraging him to immediately go east and get on Hayford, because again, if these roads come apart, it's going to be very challenging to put them back together. The board knows as well as anybody the financial constraints on trying to find local access money. So that's really driving it. Our recommendation would be to limit truck traffic on the highlighted red sections of road of Craig and Dino. And I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions for Mr. Zarecor before I open it up for public comment? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we may go ahead and start with the lady who's on Zoom. Or I want to say Carol, but I can't think of Kaplan. So Carol, this is the time for you to, you have 3 minutes to speak on the topic just presented.
Thank you so very much. I would highly recommend that we put up signs for it. I live on the corner of Rambo and Deno, and we get all the dust from the big trucks that come through there. And it is really, it's a health hazard, actually. We don't like to be out with it. So if you could put up signs, that would be awesome. So please, I promote that. Thank you.
Thank you. So next I have David Lundgren.
Ron, can we get the map put back up?
Okay, there we go.
Okay, my name is David Lundgren. I don't know if you need my address. I live on 1643 West Lincoln Road. The three things that I'll try to bring to light. The engineer said that these are farm-to-market roads, which is true, but actually Rambo was a farm-to-market road. All the roads except Deno coming from Craig over to Rambo are all paved. But they're not great, I'll admit that, and the roads were never built for a lot of weight. But what's going to happen if you try to drive through signage, the first thing we're going to do is tear Rambo up completely, because now you're putting all the stress of going around. The second issue is the reason we're seeing so much truck traffic on that is if you don't turn, you're coming out of Spokane, whether you're coming out Highway 2 or coming out past the college. A lot of times everybody's figured out that if they cut across on Flint, right there at the Rusty Moose, catch Hayford, they can bypass Airway Heights by coming across on Deno and then coming back out on Rambo. And so not only is that a huge advantage, because with all the lights and all the roundabouts, sometimes it might take 20 minutes to get through Airway Heights and past Flint Road. Because, you know, if it's Fairchild gets let out, all this traffic and stuff. And so people have figured out that that's the easier way. And you can imagine if you're driving a semi and you're trying to negotiate roundabouts, stopping at lights, and then all of a sudden I'm turning green and everybody dodging in and out of you. So by doing this, we're actually going to cause more traffic congestion in other places. Plus the mileage, if you don't take Deno coming off, you have to come all the way out to Highway 2 because they're not going to want you to sneak past the casino. And if you close Craig this way, you wouldn't be able to do that. So you're coming all the way out to Highway 2. I didn't figure it out before I came, but you're adding probably about 10 miles to the trip trying to go through. But you're probably adding at least 20 minutes because of getting through all the lights and all the roundabouts. I forgot my third thing. Oh, he mentioned right after you turn on to Deno off of Hayford, there is a company bought the land and put a construction. I'm not sure what it is. The Busy Bee, I see they ended on Craig, so that Busy Bee, which does landfill, or not fill, but it's people haul gravel, timber, branches and stuff, and they have a facility that they can deposit in. Those are existing businesses that people patronize coming those directions. And, you know, you mentioned that you're going to encourage him to go the other way, but what if you don't? And in my case, was that my 3 minutes?
That is your 3 minutes.
Okay.
I will let you finish those.
Okay, if you go to the top in the black, that's clear up on where I'm coming from. I come across, and I turn on Deno, and then I catch Hayford, go over to Flint and in. So we're talking about hauling grain, hauling cows, hauling sometimes gravel. The other thing I'm not sure people realize is no cement trucks would be able to go across that now. So anybody that wants to buy land and build homes out there won't be able to have cement trucks without getting a permit to bring that cement truck in on that road or
Okay.
gravel delivered. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate the testimony. Next, I have Jason Beeler. Okay, we will leave it up. I think so.
I'm Jason Beeler. I represent Busy Bee, so we're there on Craig. We're the red ends there. We've been operating there for 30-plus years with that business. What Mr. Lundgren said is absolutely correct. And what it adds, he's pretty spot on what it adds going all the way around. So one question to the county would be, are we talking to no through traffic over 16,000, or are we saying period no 16,000? Because all our traffic is coming to us. They don't use that section of Dino highlighted with the curve in it past Craig. A lot of them are coming in on Dino, and they still use Rambo. So those two routes are Craig out of Airway Heights, very little. And I agree, it's a rough road. It was a horrible dirt road, and it's a horrible chip sealed road, and I agree with that. My property taxes keep going up, my permit keep going up, and there's still no money to handle that. We try to work with the county the best we can, telling our guys, hey, be a little respectful. I agree, there's the other businesses that are using it as a through, and they are taking a lot more traffic through there with the pits. But it does affect us directly to move that traffic. And I don't know that, I don't entirely see that as being too fair to the people that have been out there operating. So I understand what they're trying to do. I don't fully agree with it though. And I think we're gonna pay the most for it, so.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And we may be asking Matt more questions at the end, so. The next person I have is Wyatt Rains.
Can you leave that up?
Yes.
I live right there where the curve is on Dino, and I drive trucks home. What my thing is the way it was, what I understand, Dino from Hayford, clear to Craig and around the corner from Craig, that was built better than anything else because everybody forgets there's a Nike site back in there. That's what that was originally paved and done for, the way I understand it. And I understand about corridor and all the rest of the boys with the pits and what the trucks are doing, but why should Beeler's traffic have to go all the way back around onto Highway 2? Honestly, the biggest problem we got out there is Dino getting onto trails from the community center and all the traffic from the casino. I understand what you guys are trying to do about restricting traffic. You only got so much money, but we got bigger problems than just that. You know, I wish you guys could do something with it, whether we get better deal, but you shove us all out over onto Rambo. Now we're trying to cross 2 lanes of traffic, travel in one direction. Rambo is not a lot of fun to get out on with a truck and a trailer. And Rambo will get beat up because once you shut that off, we're gonna dump everybody on the other 2. And normally when you do that big a traffic deal, you have to do a traffic impact study. What are you gonna do with all this traffic if you just shut that through road off? So, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. So this is an open public hearing item. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to it? Those are all the people that I have signed up so far. Okay. Second call for anyone else wishing to testify on item 5A. Third and final call. Okay, I'm going to close the public testimony, and I'm going to ask Mr. Zarakor if you could come up and help answer a few questions for us.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. So to try and address a few of the comments and concerns I heard, first, you know, local traffic's always exempted. So Busy Bee, their customers coming and going, they have an exception. They don't need a permit to do that. Similarly, if you're taking trucks home, that's your occupation, you're exempted, you don't need a permit to do that, that's allowed. And really, I'm not at all trying to dismiss their concerns about pushing traffic around. We're well aware that when you say these trucks can't go to a certain place, making them navigate around is adding time, and that's a concern. The bigger challenge is when these roads come apart, the board well knows we can't afford to rebuild them, and that they were cost prohibitive. It's millions of dollars a mile to rebuild roads. So that's the challenge that we're up against. We're really just looking to limit heavy truck traffic. That does the vast majority of the damage. Light cars and trucks really do not hurt the roads. So this is a good way of starting that step. You know, someday maybe we can get these roads rebuilt. There has historically been talk with the Air Force Base about improving Dino in particular across as a way for traffic to get around the center of Airway Heights and having to go through all the traffic signals and the roundabouts, because all those traffic control measures have added quite a bit of time to base response and just getting through on a day-to-day basis. So they're legitimate concerns. We share those concerns, and we're not trying to aggravate it, but at the same time, we do need to keep our road system together, and the most expedient way to do that's just to limit the heavy trucks that are just passing through. The ones that reside there or have to go to Busy Bee as a destination, those are exempt, and they don't need permits to do that activity.
Okay, and then is this a seasonal, or is this going to be permanent?
This is permanent.
Okay, I think we're just wanting to make sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the public forum is closed, so I can't take any questions. I can't take any questions, I'm sorry.
Happy to visit with you afterwards. You bet.
Yeah, so any business that is on that road and has people that are coming and going that are over 16,000 can still continue to do that?
Yeah, and that's true for all of our truck restrictions, not just this one that's standard.
Okay. Commissioner Waldron.
And can you remind me then about the permit process? You mentioned that if you own a business here and that's part of your business, you'd be exempt from this. So you said something about a permit.
Yeah, there are no permits required to do that. If you're
Okay.
local traffic, and along that same load, if you're building a house and you're having lumber delivered or concrete trucks are coming to pour foundations, that's also exempted. If there's a destination inside the truck, no trucks area, they're just allowed to do that, and they know that. And if they were pulled over and an officer talked to them, if they clearly had a destination along that roadway, they'd be fine. There wouldn't be any question.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
So just to clarify, so even if you were like a supplier or something delivering goods to a business within that, you'd still be okay, because if you're delivering within that area, you're exempt.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're starting there with a load or you're ending there
Great.
with a load, those would be exempted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess I just want to be clear, how much traffic do we think we're trying to avoid then outside of the people that have businesses in there?
It's really, as we talked initially, it's really the new traffic that we're seeing off of Hayford from the new gravel pits and asphalt and concrete plants on North Hayford that are using this route that we've really noticed an increase in through traffic.
Okay.
You know, they're trying, just as we talked about, trying to get around the delays going through the center of Airway Heights, and it's quicker for them to go use Dino and get out to Rambo and come down to Highway 2 and continue west primarily. But also one gentleman said north, which also makes sense. If you were trying to go on Rambo north to northwest Spokane or even north Spokane from here, that would make sense. But we just need them to go around. We're seeing too much impact from the truck traffic. These roads have, not so much this year, but in prior years, really come apart.
Okay. And then will you be speaking to some of those businesses that are producing the new traffic?
Yeah, we've talked to them.
Okay.
They're aware of the concern.
Okay.
Happy to visit with them more if you hear from them, though.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Is there any further comment? Okay. Then the public testimony is closed. We have our comments. I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the county engineer's recommendation in revising Spokane County Traffic Code number 46.44.0802, no trucks over 16,000 pounds, Craig Road and Dino Road for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously, and then Matt will be here to answer any further questions afterwards. That's going to take us to item number 5B, consider revising Spokane Traffic Code number 46.61.5701, no parking, Liberty Lake Road and Liberty Drive for the Spokane County Public Works Department. We did receive one email. I just want to let people know in opposition of this. So, Matt, if you want to go ahead and speak to it.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. So here today talk about Liberty Lake Road. You can see on the overhead here, we're talking about the section along the existing neighborhood there. And what the challenge is there's a pathway that runs along the east side of the road that allows people to head out and get to inlet and also to the path that goes along the canal further north up to Liberty Lake and the commercial uses up there. So very well-used pathway along the side of the roadway, very popular, gets lots of all kinds of foot traffic and pedestrians pushing strollers and bikes. And we're trying to keep that clear. A lot of people, naturally enough, would like to park in front of their homes, but when they do that, it blocks the trail and forces people using the path out into traffic. So just trying to clean that up, trying to get folks not to park along the pathway, and I understand that's a challenge. That's not lost on us. We wish there was more parking available, but we're really weighing a few parking people against the needs of the path and the community and trying to keep that pathway intact and keep it safe for the users. And happy to answer any questions.
And is it no parking on both sides of the road?
Just the one side.
Just
the
the one
path is
side.
on the one side, the east side of the road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for Matt before? No? Okay. Oh, Commissioner Jordan.
So when people park on that side of the road, they're effectively blocking the path? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the path is only, I'm going to guess, 5
Okay.
feet wide.
All right.
And so when you park there, essentially you block the path
Okay.
plus a few feet out into the roadway. It's wide lanes there. They're not impeding traffic, but you very much have to get out into traffic to go around anything parked on the pedestrian pathway.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. This is an open public testimony item, so I will open up the public testimony for item number 5B as stated on today's agenda. And I don't have anyone signed up. So is there anyone online? No one in the audience. Second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 5B. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 5B. Seeing no one online and no one in the audience, I will close the public testimony and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the county engineer's recommendation and revise Spokane County Traffic Code number 46.61.5701, no parking, Liberty Lake Road and Liberty Drive for Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That will then take us to item 5C, to consider revising Spokane County Traffic Code number 46.61.4155.2, 25 miles per hour on Lindgren Road for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. So the last traffic code revision before you today is for a section of Lindgren Road. You can see on the overhead map, it's up in northeast Spokane County. And you can see Bruce Road on the aerial running through it north and south. Lindgren Road is the road in red. It's a very short, I would guess around a half a mile gravel road. And we had a request to reduce the speed limit. Our traffic engineer went out, drove it. I've driven it a number of times too. And it's very low volume. It felt appropriate to have it 25 miles an hour. The change in travel time, presumably it's all people that are living there or visiting there because there is no through connection. And it felt appropriate. And the recommendation is to implement that 25 miles an hour, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Seeing none, I will open up the public testimony. I have two people that have signed up. I have Don Stevens.
Thank you. I'm Don Stevens. Thank you for your work. Man, we've got a big county. I would be impressed if any of you have ever been on Lindgren Road, but there we are, 2 miles north of the Argonne-Bigelow intersection. It's right where the power lines cross Argonne, Bruce. And it's actually about a mile long. I have never seen a 35-mile-an-hour sign on that road. I've been there since '91, so 35 years. There's a yellow 20-mile-an-hour sign, and then a while back somebody found another yellow sign and put it up. So it's nice having 20, but man, if I would have known it was 35 miles an hour, we would have been here a long time ago. But it's way too fast. I'm glad you're going down to 25. Can you go any lower? I mean, can you go 20? Is this the group that decides that?
I want to say we take the recommendation from our traffic.
Okay.
So our county road engineer, and so we will ask the question after we're done.
Yeah, if we could go 20, that'd be great. It's 25 homes on the road, and it's gravel. Back in the 70s, it was just a farm-to-market road. It was just where I lived, it's a 100-acre potato farm. And then it got divided up in 20-acre parcels, 10 acres, 5 acres. And then over the years, the traffic has really increased, and there's no gravel on it anymore. It's just, it doesn't hold up. Good luck going 35, but that's the service trucks. It's the Amazons, the UPS. And it's my wife's fault. Man, she orders more stuff. And when they come, I said, are we the busiest place on the road? And I think it is her fault. So sorry to my neighbor, but we try to take care of it. But, if somebody could put more material on it, I mean, there just is a lot of issues. So
Thank you.
20 miles.
Thank you. So next I have Paul Allen.
Hi, I just want to thank you for bringing us to the county for this. It's been a while since I spoke in public. So I was the Public Works Director for the City of Millwood for the last 10 years of my career, and I was there for almost 40 years. And so I'm pretty familiar with roads and that. And I worked with a lot of the projects with the county. We did some joint projects. And so I appreciate everything that you do. And actually, I'm the one that got this instigated and started. And like Dawn said, it's a dead-end road. It's about a half a mile back to where the official road ends. So Dawn's at the beginning of the road. I'm at the very end of the road. And since COVID, there's been a lot of deliveries. And your wife is not the only one that's shopping on Amazon. We get several a day. So there has really increased the traffic we've been there for 17 years and used to hardly see a car pass when I first started there. Now it's all day long. There's mostly delivery drivers. And they have no idea what they just want to get their package delivered and then get back out to Argonne as fast as they can. So I know I called Spokane County and talked to the engineer, and they came out and they did a traffic study, and I never saw what the traffic count was on it. I'm sure it's pretty low volume compared to a lot of roads, but I'd be willing to guess that the majority of the traffic is delivery drivers going back and forth. So I had no idea that it was 35 miles an hour either, because it wasn't posted. I just assumed that it was 25 miles an hour because that's what it normally is. If there's 25 miles an hour, it doesn't need to be posted unless there's a change of speed. And the only warning signs that we have are the 20-mile-an-hour warning signs. We've got one at the beginning of the road, and then we've got one kind of at the curve. So I'm back in the trees, and it's a very narrow road and kind of a blind corner when you go around that bend. And so when we get big trucks coming through there, you really have to pull off to one side and be able to look ahead of you in order to make it safe. And so my concern was a safety issue, because it's also a bus stop at the end of Argonne in the morning and the afternoon for kids. And so even though there hasn't been any fatalities there, and Lord, we don't want a fatality there, and that's usually what happens in order to get action in that area. So I'm all for it. You know, like Dawn said, if we can get it down to 20, it would even be better. But anyway, that's what I have to say, and hopefully you guys will take that under advisement. And I'd like to talk to the engineer after the meeting for other safety concerns.
Very good.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so those are the people that I have signed up for the testimony on 5C. Is there anyone else online or anyone else in the audience? Seeing no one else online, no one else in the audience. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 5C. With that, seeing no one, I will then close the public testimony. Matt, I will have you answer the question on the 20 to 25 down to 20, how you make those determinations.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. There is discretion, and usually it comes back to the board in the form of a recommendation in terms of what we would suggest we post the speed at, and the board decides. That being said, there's a kind of well-known national documentation regarding speed on roadways, where if we're asked to go out and take a look at, hey, people are driving too fast on our road, and we do a speed study, there's actually national guidance that oftentimes will tell you to look at like the 85th percentile driver and set the speed there. And almost without exception, that speed is higher than what we originally had it posted at. So it's always kind of a note of caution, be careful what you ask for, because if we go out and take a look at speeds, I would imagine that the 85th percentile driver on this roadway is traveling much faster than 25 miles an hour, and then our national guidance would be pushing us towards raising speed limits, and that's true almost on every roadway we look at. So, you know, 2025, I agree totally, it's a gravel road, it dead ends, but the other end is they're Amazon delivery drivers that are in a hurry to get to the next stop, and time's money. So there's these competing interests. 25 feels appropriate, especially with the curves that they mentioned. There's curve ahead signs for, and that would be our recommendation. And yes, the board has all the latitude in the world. We could put it down at 15 miles an hour. We would find that we wouldn't get compliance. When you post it below what's reasonable, people stop complying to a large degree also. So that would be the challenge.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Waldron.
So it sounded like there might be a 20-mile-an-hour sign out there. Are you aware of that, or?
Yeah, I believe that's for the curve.
Just the
There's a curve on the
Okay.
roadway, and that's posted, so people are aware the curve isn't designed for
So the proposal would be to
35.
post, though, the other sections at 25.
Yeah, we would put a speed limit sign where you enter the roadway, so
Okay.
people turning onto it know that the speed limit's 25. To their point, it's not posted currently. If we don't do anything, any gravel road in the county, rural in particular, is automatically 35 miles an hour.
Okay.
Any paved road is 45 miles an hour. So we have to specifically put any roadway into code if we wanted something other than that. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
If there's no other questions or comments, then I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the recommendation of the county engineer and revise Spokane County Traffic Code number 46.61.4155.2, 25 miles per hour, Lindgren Road for the Spokane County Public Works Department.
Second.
I have a motion and second for item 5C as just stated. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. I do want to say thank you all for coming down to testify. It's important for us to get the information and to listen. So thank you for that. Then that is going to take us to our by leave item, which is by leave item number 6. So this is a resolution in the matter of appointments to the Spokane Regional Health District Board of Health for the non-elected members to include a member representing public health care facilities and providers, and a member representing consumers of public health and other matters thereto related. Mr. Maceo.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I will briefly advise the board of what this particular matter is. Well, let me start in the beginning. The Board of County Commissioners in 2021 were required to modify the composition of the Spokane Regional Health District Board of Health. I'll just refer to them as Board of Health. At the time the legislation was passed, it provided that the elected representatives on the Board of Health could not be more than the non-elected representatives on the Board of Health. When the Board of County Commissioners in 2021 recomposed the health district, it consisted of elected officials and non-elected officials. There were two types of non-elected officials. There were individuals appointed by tribes and organizations within Spokane County, and then there are three types of community representatives. Based upon the legislature in 2021, the board comprised the health district consisting of that designation. We also provided that the non-elected community representatives on the Board of Health had 2-year terms. There were 3 non-elected representatives on the Board of Health. When the board appointed the 3 people to those positions, the resolution provided that they had 2-year terms. The 2-year terms expired February 13, 2026. Consistent with the state law, the Board of Health has to go through a very complex vetting procedure, to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners who they want to appoint to fill these 3 non-elected positions. Last Friday, the Board of County Commissioners received a letter from the Health Board. In the letter, they recommended 2 out of 3 individuals to be appointed to fill these community positions on the Board of Health. They could not, at that point in time, agree on the 3rd individual to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners. When the board received that correspondence, I placed on your agenda your acknowledgement of the letter from the Health District to appoint the 2 non-elected representatives and placed the item on today's agenda. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to be sure the Board of Health had a full composition of members of the Board of Health when they moved forward to hold their subsequent meetings. So today in front of you, I have a resolution that does 2 things. Number 1, it recognizes the letter you received from the Board of Health on Friday, wherein they recommended 2 out of the 3 non-elected representatives of the Board of Health. Your action today would approve that recommendation from the state, from the Health District Board. The second item, however, I added to the resolution today, which is why it was stricken and added at the end, is that when the legislature in 2021 required a reconstitution of the boards of health, they provided that elected representatives on the Board of Health could not be more than the non-elected representatives on the Board of Health. If the board appoints the 2 individuals on your resolution today, at the present time, you would have 5 elected representatives on the Board of Health and 4 non-elected representatives on the Board House. The 5 elected representatives would be 4 county commissioners, a representative from the city of Spokane, and that gives you 5. The non-elected representatives would be 1 from a tribe and 1 from an organization, and the 2 community representatives. Because of the state law, I'm recommending to the county commissioners that when you appoint the 2 non-elected representatives, we also add language that would basically provide that the most recent elected representative of the Board of Health would step down from that position until the Board of County Commissioners appoints the 3rd community representative. And at that point in time, the elected representative would automatically be reinstated without further action of this Board of County Commissioners. Under this analysis, as the board is probably aware, it's Commissioner Chris Jordan who was the most recently appointed elected member to the Spokane Regional Health District Board. So under this resolution that I've provided, when you appoint the 2 non-elected representatives, at the same time, you would, I'm going to use the word, tentatively disappoint, if you will, Commissioner Chris Jordan until you make this new appointment, which should be relatively soon, and then he would automatically be placed on the Health District Board and resume his responsibilities in conjunction therewith. I apologize for that taking so long, Madam Chair, and it is quite complex, and I hope I haven't said anything disparagingly, Commissioner Jordan, with regard to your appointment on the Board of Health. Does the board have any questions?
Thanks, Jim. Just a couple clarifications. So, am I understanding your guidance correctly that the requirement that elected officials not constitute a majority of the health board under state law and regulations pertains to the actual appointed members of the board and not just to the roster of positions, so to speak, that exists in resolution already?
You ask a good question, Commissioner Jordan. The WAC regulations make it very clear that the representation of elected and non-elected is based upon someone being appointed to that particular position, not just simply being a position membership on the board.
And just a follow-up, it seems to me that one potential elegant solution, if we could do it, to allow all of the current board members to continue participating in the business of the health board, would be to basically look at that community stakeholder position, which has been filled by Charlie Durignona until last week, as you talked about. Is it possible to somehow say or extend his term of service to say that he's still appointed to the health board until the commissioners select a replacement, or can we not do that at this point?
Commissioner Jordan, that is another very good question. I looked at that issue last week, and state law and Robert's Rules of Order make it very clear that when an individual on the board has a fixed term, at the end of that fixed term, he or she is no longer on the board. And so in this particular case, because the Board of County Commissioners resolution established a 2-year term for these individuals, as of last Friday, February 13th, they were no longer on the board. And so I do not believe, based upon them no longer being the board, that the board can, if you will, give them an additional term until we make the appointment. I think it creates too many problems because the recommendations and the actions of the State Board of the Regional Health District are very significant, and I think it would not be in our best interest to create any ability for anyone to challenge or void any of the very important decisions that the Board of Health makes for this community.
Commissioner Waldron.
It's a bit frustrating that I think that the RCW and the WAC didn't really, were not written in a way that really anticipated a variety of issues that may come up, like a seat is vacant, and then it may take a week or 2 or a month to fill that vacancy. So it's unfortunate that it seems like it was written in a way that didn't allow flexibility for life happening. But to your point around the, is it your interpretation that it's just the appointed members that are challenging in terms of allowing a vacancy to happen for a short amount of time? Or is that also the tribal members?
I think it's
Because they're also appointed by their tribe or agency.
and I think that distinction, Commissioner, is a very good distinction. As we know, when the tribe or organization appoints someone, they're going to appoint one person, and that person is the person who is appointed or recognized. But with regard to the other community representatives, I think those are the ones we're talking about, that they have to be appointed to that position.
So my question would be like, I'm just trying to play this out. Let's say one of the tribal appointees had to resign or leave due to a circumstance, and they resigned on a Wednesday, and then there was a Board of Health meeting on a Thursday. What would happen?
If there's no person in that position, then that position would be not counted in conjunction with determining if there's a quorum for the purpose of taking action, because they're no longer there.
But what would happen with the elected officials?
I don't know that I'm prepared, Commissioner, to answer that
it could
in
happen.
open forum.
Yeah.
I apologize. I have not thought through that in that detail. My initial reaction might be that they are non-elected representatives on the Board of Health, and therefore, if the position is there but it's not filled, arguably, being consistent with what we're doing now, an elected representative might have to stand down, if you will, because maybe that the organization's never going to appoint someone. They don't want to be represented on the Board of Health again. So it's very complex, and I would be more than happy to dialogue with you some more other than this meeting to address that.
Yeah, I guess I'm just throwing out that these things could happen, and there wouldn't be time for an elected group, like the county, to make a decision. So is there anything in the WAC around a time frame, or can we put that in our own rules of how long we'll allow a vacancy, until it's filled? Because it just seems like it's not workable to think that, you would take action within 24 hours to remove somebody from a board or put them back on.
You always ask very interesting questions. In looking closely at the WAC regulations, which were promulgated by the State Department of Health, it specifically includes this language, which I believe gives us the right to do what you said. And I'll read it into the record, Madam Chair, if I could. The county commissioners, when you set up your resolution or ordinance establishing the health district, can identify the process for how a local Board of Health will refer successful applicants to the Board of County Commissioners for approval and appointment. If a county does not have a Board of County Commissioners, the local Board of Health will refer successful applicants to the county authority for consideration for approval and appointment. I think that language may give us some flexibility, Commissioners, to do exactly what you wanted. But I would remind the board, you remember in 2023, the legislature had to go back and address how the appointments of the tribe members and organizational members were made, because the question was, where do they make that recommendation? Does it go to the Board of Health? Does it go to the county commissioners? Or where does it go? And again, I would prefer to do some more research on this issue, Commissioner, and maybe have some offline dialogue with you to address your concerns.
And I appreciate that, but isn't it the same issue that we're talking about here in the meeting?
Well, all I can tell you for certainty is when I look at the WAC regulations, it makes it very clear that to be a member of the health board as a non-elected representative, you must be appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. And it's because of that that I take the position that we will have one non-elected representative on the Board of Health. There's no one appointed to that position. And if you can't have more elected than non-elected, someone elected official has to stand down. And so I think that's very clear from the WAC regulations. I haven't talked to the State Board of Health on this. I will admit that I did have a conversation with the Health Board attorney to confirm her agreement with my interpretation, and she had the same interpretation that I did. So I felt at least I'd done as much homework as I could possibly do at this point in time.
Just, Madam Chair, going forward, in order to prevent something like this from happening again, does this board have the ability to pass a resolution to the effect of saying that the three community positions would remain filled by the current appointee past to a certain time period until the commissioners appoint the representative or the successor, so to speak? Is that an option that we could look at going forward as a fix?
Commissioner, that is a correct statement. When the board establishes the term of the non-elected representatives, they can provide that it could be for a term of 2 years until a successor is appointed, but not to exceed 30 days. So there are various options that I would be glad to prepare for your consideration. Madam Chair, I'm sorry that took so long.
No, I appreciate it, and I think, though, there's other issues that we will need to discuss at another point in time, because if one of those community members resigns, in between, I mean, that's a whole different issue again. So, because the state law is clear that we can't have more electeds than community members. So that's the issue that we're truly dealing with. So I think it is up to the state law to change to help guide us on this issue, and we are navigating the best we can.
You're correct, Madam Chair.
And I will say, as someone who's been on the health board a long time and has watched these changes, it has been frustrating, to say the least. So I think, yeah, I will stop at that. So it is not what I think any of us want to have happen at this point in time. And I will say, as I was talking to one of my commissioners, this is not putting the best light on our Spokane Regional Health District. This is, as the chair of the transition committee for the health board, I think this is causing a dark cloud. I think it's going to cause a dark cloud for people to even be willing to sign up to be our community members. That, is just putting us in a not good light. So it's very frustrating, because I think we truly want people to help us on the health district and to be able to provide their expertise as our community members and as our tribal members. And this has caused, one of the people that was nominated had put their name in to withdraw because of how the meeting went the other day. So I mean, that's my concern, is that the laws were not put together well. I think there was intentions that they wanted, but the way it's written does not help us. And we have a great health district, and we have great people, and this is not putting a very good light on us.
Madam Chair, and as the full board knows, when the Department of Health promulgated the guidelines with respect to appointments of non-electeds on the Board of Health, there's a huge vetting process. Not only do they submit an application, but they have all sorts of things they have to indicate in conjunction with that, conflicts, what they've done before. And then in addition to that, there has to be an interview in open session so members of the public can observe these individuals who are volunteering their time to be on the health board, if you will. And then, as this board knows, the health boards, I don't think they get the best of my knowledge, they get very little, if any, compensation. It's de minimis. And so it's a volunteer board that you've got to go through all sorts of hoops to be on if you're interested in being on it. Any further questions, Madam Chair?
One more question. Okay. So, thank you. Thank you for helping us wade through this, Jim. It's very mucky, but is there any requirement, though, in the WAC or the RCW that we remove the most recently appointed member?
Commissioner, there is no requirement in the WAC, the RCW, or the resolution that the Board of County Commissioners passed when you created the Spokane Regional Health District Board. I took the liberty of last in, first out. I mean, that's kind of a process, I don't know, that is in my mind, but no, there is no process. The county commissioners could certainly modify it if they like, but I just took that off the top of my head, and you're certainly welcome to change that.
Well, yeah, I just bring that up because Commissioner Jordan was just elected on his first day as a Board of Health member. He was elected to be vice chair, and I'm past chair, and Councilmember Cathcart is chair. And so the three of us make up the executive committee currently and have a meeting in 45 minutes to set the agenda for the next meeting. So I bring that up because I wonder if Commissioner Jordan is the person to remove at this point, since he was elected vice chair. And so I just bring that up for, conversation.
So I will state in our resolution, we had it where there was 3 commissioners that were appointed. Then as another person came on, then it was the city council member. And then as another person came on, we added another commissioner, and that commissioner was Commissioner Jordan. So in my mind, it does make the most sense that, again, that's, that was the latest person that came on, and so.
I'll just say I would be disappointed to be disappointed to the health board. There are several important topics going on right now. This particular community stakeholder position and the administrative officer search. So if there is another commissioner not on the executive committee who wants to temporarily step off, I would welcome that. But I do just want to say I appreciate, Jim, your work trying to keep us out of hot water with the law. That's a worthy goal. So thanks for all your research trying to help us figure out the options.
And again, this we're hoping is very temporary, and hopefully by next week you will be back on. So with that, any further discussion? Then I will look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
Madam Chair,
Oh, I do have to thank you. Yes, since this is a bi-leave item, thanks. We had lots of comment, but since it's a bi-leave item, and it was not posted on the agenda, I do have to open it up for public comment. So if anyone would like to comment on this topic, you're welcome to come forward, or anyone online. Second call for anyone wishing to comment on bi-leave item 6. Seeing no one. Third and final call for anyone wishing to comment on bi-leave item 6. Seeing no one online and no one in the audience, I will close the public comment and call for the vote. All those in favor, please do.
do we need to make a motion?
I-
I don't think we haven't made a motion
We
yet.
haven't made a motion. Okay, sorry. Usually I try to do the public comment after the motion.
Yeah.
So,
I-
sorry. You got ahead of me.
Madam Chair, move to approve by leave item number 6, a resolution in the matter of appointments to the Spokane Regional Health District Board of Health for the non-elected members to include a member representing public health, healthcare facilities, and providers, and a member representing consumers of public health and other matters related thereto as presented by staff.
Is there a second?
Sure, second.
Okay. Motion is second. I have had the public testimony, but any further discussion up here?
I just wanted to say for the record, I really appreciate Dr. Blykowski-May. So this is a three-part item. It's appointing Dr. Blykowski-May to the Representative for Public Health, Healthcare Facilities and Providers, appointing Patricia Keinholz, representatives of community, representing consumers of public health, and then dealing with the elected issue. I strongly support parts 1 and 2. So I just want to thank them for their service. They interviewed really well. By all accounts, they've been really engaged, active board members, both of them. I thought they had great comments in the interviews, so very much appreciate them. In the absence of another commissioner who wants to volunteer to come off the board, because the third part pertains to me, I'll abstain from the vote.
Okay.
And I also want to thank Dr. Blykowski-May and Ms. Keinholz for their service and their willingness to serve again. And I did support from the Board of Health moving them forward to this board. And I strongly support their them being reappointed to a 2-year and maybe more term. And but I will be voting against the motion because I would not like to see Commissioner Jordan come off the board.
Okay, and I will just state that it will be with definite reservation that I'll be supporting this motion. Just, I am frustrated with the state and how this law is putting us in this position. So, but we will need three votes to make it happen, so I will be voting in favor, but with reservation. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
And abstentions?
Abstain.
Okay. You have that for the record, 3 for, 1 abstention, and 1 against. So it does pass. Thank you very much. Mr. Folsom, I'll look to you to see if there's any other items to come before us. Okay, no other items?
No other items.
Thank you. So then that takes us to the end of our meeting for today. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone being here, and we are adjourned.